Hi, everybody. Charles Hoskinson here, live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Brief update on Bittrex, the word of the hour. So our team has been really hard at work, and we had a great meeting with our most senior engineers, Thomas, Edsco, Duncan, Tim Shears, and others, like the people who built the language or are currently building a language. And we did an end-to-end analysis of some of the design of the wallet backend and looking particularly at the logs and some of the benchmarks we've been running with coin selection and other components of Adrestia. And we've gained a lot of insight into where certain performance slowdowns are occurring and why those problems are causing cascading issues for the Bittrex instance. In fact, we found several instances where things under certain scenarios would go from linear to quadratic complexity, which means that they become untenable in a reasonable period of time with a reasonable set of data, but more difficult to detect with normal benchmarks. So we've enhanced our testing and our micro benchmarks that we're doing, and we're gradually walking our way through every single aspect of the wallet backend to make sure that everything's looking good. There's some places where we were able to improve coin selection from 20 seconds to 100 milliseconds. So massive improvements, orders of magnitude improvements in scale. And those updates should be pushed into the wallet around Tuesday or so. And we're working very closely with the guys from Bittrex to basically verify that these fixes will fix their wallet. So I understand the frustration, but the good news is that we are deep into the guts of the wallet. And the light at the end of the tunnel is that not only will this eventually solve Bittrex's concern, but every single user of Cardano will benefit because these changes are not specific to Bittrex. These are universal updates to the wallet backend as a whole, which means if you ever happen to get a wallet that was operating at the scope and scale that Bittrex has been operating their wallet with hundreds of thousands of accounts, your wallet actually could perform reasonably well to do that on your desktop, which is a really cool, happy accident of the process. But I will make updates for you guys at least 2 or 3 a week. But I think that there's a very strong possibility of resolution soon because we seem to have identified a lot of areas where massive slowdowns are occurring. And those should at least be good enough to potentially get that wallet back online. And then we'll continue with the benchmarking and gradual performance improvements, and those will just be pushed to all the exchanges. So I understand how frustrating this is for those on the who are customers of Bittrex. It's deeply frustrating for me. It's not a situation where the software is not correct or there's a security issue. It's just a performance issue, and it's a performance issue on the tail. So these are certain scenarios that are just really difficult to test. But we finally got to a point where we've built some software that allows us to do that for this particular edge case. And we're now working our way through it with an accelerated pace. And we take this at the highest level, which is why Duncan's working on it, Tim Shears is working on it, and other very senior Haskellers are examining this and offering a lot of advice and support. But the good news is that we've already found some major resolutions and fixes are on the way. And as soon as those pass QA, we'll work to see them into the wallet and see if that resolves all the problems. If it does, we can probably go green this week. If there's some more stuff on the tail, the team will be working on that 24/7 until it gets done. And everybody in all the Cardano ecosystem will benefit from these things. And I'll keep broadcasting as soon as I know something. I just got a report this morning. It's Labor Day. I'm at the office, though. No, Labor Day, Memorial Day, that's it. See, I don't even know my holidays anymore. It's Memorial Day, I'm at the office, and I'll be here 24/7 too until this gets resolved. And I'm sorry it's taking so long, and I really understand the frustration. And this is just one of those things that tends to happen. For those of you who aren't aware, Bittrex was the first exchange to list Cardano, which meant that they were using the old Sarakel software in its absolute worst state. So everything was really shaky there. Memory management, coin selection, and the continued use of that software kind of tangled up a lot of things that were very unique to them. And it made it very difficult for them to migrate to later versions of the software, such as the Byron reboot. And now that they've been forced to prioritize that because of the Shelley hard fork, there was a large backlog of things to do. All throughout August, we worked with them to untangle that ball, and we got it to a point where everything's working, but it doesn't have reasonable performance, because there are some areas that have quadratic slowdown point selection that were never optimized because they're hard to detect unless you have a huge wallet with a massive UTXO field. So those accidentally quadratic areas are now things that need to be solved, and we've done so. So we're systematically walking through every aspect with very skilled people, and we're getting all that done. This is not Bittrex's fault. This is just a consequence of where the wallet was at, the old software, and continued use of that software. Other exchanges who came much later, they were using newer versions of the software. So a lot of these problems were only present with the September 2017, for example, version. And they were never fully resolved, unfortunately, on their side. So it happens, and unfortunately, the first adopters sometimes get stung this way. But we're fully committed, and any resources we need to commit to make sure that that gets untangled, we're doing so. And actually, I think we're almost at that end. We'll have full confirmation the next few days about it, and I'll make another video about it. But I hope that this is the last week. That said, at this point, it's the highest priority on our list. Duncan's working on it, other people are working on it, and they feel very confident in the strategy and the approach that we're following. And it's just a matter of systematically micro-benchmarking every single function and aspect of the wallet backend until we fully identify all the slowdowns and get enough of them resolved that performance is tolerable for that. The good news is we think we've solved it, but we won't know for sure until at least tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know over Twitter at the very least if everything looks good. And all throughout the week, I'll keep making updates. So this is a brief update on Bittrex, and we'd like to thank them for their patience, and we'd like to thank them for being a great partner and working with us, providing logs and helping us along the way. They've been very saintly in that respect, and they're a great organization and a great exchange. And to the customers, I understand your frustration. The light at the end of the tunnel is this makes all of Cardano better, and the other light at the end of the tunnel is that the software that they're migrating to is beautiful software that's well tested, very performant, and has great APIs, and it's future-proofed. So when we move, for example, from Shelley to Goguen into later eras, these problems will never be experienced again. This is kind of a legacy of the legacy, and we just have to unfortunately overcome those concerns. And once we're through that, brighter horizons ahead. And this just shows you that some exchanges go above others. Bittrex has really been a great partner in that respect, and we'd like to thank them again for their patience and all the technical help they provided. And we've learned a lot along the way, and all of those lessons make our experience better for all exchanges, just like our work on Rosetta, for example, or our work with Binance. So I just wanted to make an update for all you guys to let you know what's going on. And as I say, I'll keep making these updates until we have resolution. But it is a very high priority, and the wallet backend is working exceedingly hard on these particular issues and getting them through. It's kind of a crazy thing to go from all these different generations and hands of software and finally have a beautiful approach. Even when you know you have it, you kind of have to clean up the mess that came before. So thanks, guys, for your patience, and hang in there. Cheers.